Hi kids, it's Mr. Idukich. We're going to continue bar graphs and line plots today in chapter 13. You should have completed pages 1, 2, and 3 in your packet, or workbook pages 61, 62, and 63. So we're moving on to page 64 or page 4 of your packet, and I'm going to keep things big because I need this information to fill in this information. So Joy and her friends are making animal masks. Count the number of each type of mask they have made. Complete the tally chart and bar graph on page 65. So all of this is data that we're going to use to fill in our tally charts and then write our numbers in, and then we're going to continue building our bar graph from there. First thing I'm going to do is count my cat masks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have a total of 9 cat masks, so I'm going to make my tallies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to write my number 9. Then I'm going to count my sheep masks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I've got 21. And notice how I crossed them off. Kids, the reason I did that is if I don't do stuff like that, then I can't tell which ones I've counted and which ones I haven't. When they're all mixed up like this, it's a little bit more difficult, so I cross them off lightly just to show that I've counted them. And I came up with 21, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's 20. And then I'm going to add one more, so I have 21 sheep masks. Cow masks come next in my data collection. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got 15 cow masks. So go ahead and write in your 15 tallies. And kids, if you need to, make sure you're pausing the video so you can keep up. You don't have to rush your way through. Take your time and just make sure it's neat and organized. Rabbit masks are next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'm going to put my 18 in here first so I don't forget, and then I'm going to go so there's 18. And then finally, we have lion masks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 12 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's how I would fill in this information. Again, I cross them off just so I can make sure I have everything recorded accurately, and I might even make sure I put the numbers in both places. That way, if I lose any information ever, if I'm working with science, I have it in a couple different places, and I can look back over here, or maybe I make a mistake here, and I can double check things that way. So it's important to have your information neat and organized and in more than one location. Now we're going to go down and complete the bar graph, use the data in the tally chart. So we're going to use this information up here. I'm just going to remind you, I do have a title to my bar graph. I also have labels for my vertical axis, which is this one, number of masks. It tells me how many, and my scale is 3 because I'm going up by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12. And then I have my label for my horizontal axis 2, which tells me what kind of masks they are. So these are the main parts of a graph. The title, the labels, the scale is right here, and then you have the bars there to represent and show the numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and pause my video now and get my graph filled in. Then we'll go through and answer number 8 and 9, and we'll move on to the next page. Here it is all filled in. I used orange just to kind of fill it in today for no particular reason. Remember, you don't have to color it all the way in as long as I can clearly see where the tops of the bars end, and as long as your bars go directly above the words or your labels. The scale shows skip counts by 3. Again, the scale is over here, so we're skip counting up by 3s. And the person who made the graph chose that because their data also works in groups of 3, which is super convenient for this particular piece. But a lot of times it won't work out exactly like this. In this case it does, just to get you used to graphing. But the scale shows skip counts by 3, or your scale is 3. What is the greatest number on the scale? The greatest number on the vertical axis here is 24. Not the greatest number of actual masks. How high do they go up? And so they always go one bar above where the highest number of masks is. So in this case, the highest number of masks is sheep at 21, and they go one more above that just so there's a little space in there. It just makes the graph look a little neater and more organized so people can read it. So I'm going to pause the video and get turned to the next page. You can finish up if you haven't, and then we'll get started on page 66. Page 66. The picture graph shows the number of points 5 players scored in a basketball game. The key is important here because each little person here stands for 5 points. It's not just one, okay? Each one stands for 5 points. So Richard did not score 2 points. Richard actually scored 10 points. Paul did not score 3 points because each one is worth 5. He scored 5, 10, 15 points. So what I want you to do is just go down through Tom, Justin, Leroy, and write in how many points they scored. And then we'll move on to the graph portion. Please pause your video now. If you tallied everything up correctly, you should have Paul scoring 15 points, Tom scored 30 points, Justin scored 15 points, and Leroy scored 25 points. Now I'm going to take that data, that information from the picture graph to complete the bar graph. So all I'm going to do is take these numbers and place them on my graph to show how many points they scored. But this graph does not work vertically, okay? So this one's a little bit different. I have my title, I have my labels, but the number of points in the scale are on the horizontal axis. They're going this way. And the labels for the players are on the vertical axis. So my graph is not going to go up and down. In this case, my graph is going to go to the side. So if I start with Leroy on the top, Leroy scored 25 points. So I'm going to mark my 25 here, and then Leroy's bar is going to go horizontally, not vertically, which is a little different than what we've seen. So, but you can do graphs either way as long as it's labeled appropriately and you have a scale there. So if I go down to Justin, Justin scored 15 points, so 5, 10, 15. Because my scale is 5, then I'm going to fill in Justin. And then when I say my scale is 5, I mean I'm counting by 5s down here. Okay. Tom scored 30 points. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So for Tom, oops, I was on the wrong line. My N bar goes there, and then Tom gets filled in this way. Okay, so go ahead and finish up Paul and Richard, and then we'll go down to numbers 11 and 12, and then we'll move on to the next page. And I actually filled in the rest of my answers too, but Paul should be here at 15, Richard should be here at 10. The scale shows skip counts by 5. Again, this is the scale right here, how many you're going up by. And the greatest number on the scale is 35. And because it's flipped sideways, that greatest number is going to be located right here instead of where it usually would be up here. Okay, so the greatest number is 35. Again, they leave one space in between there from Tom, who scored the most points. So your graph goes a little bit over, so there's some blank space there. All right, I'm going to pause the video and get on to page 68, and then we'll wrap it up. So this one's a little trickier, but they want to see if you can take what you know from a graph and fill in the missing pieces, okay? So right here there's a bar missing. Right here there's a bar missing. Right here there's a label missing. Right here there's a label missing. So those are the 4 things we're going to be filling in. And we're going to do it with the information they give us. A survey was carried out to find the favorite activities of 3rd graders. It was found that 10 like to read a book. So if I go down here to my graph, read a book is right here. My scale goes up by 2, and 10 kids like to read books. So all I'm going to do is go up from that 10, mark my line, and I'm going to show in my graph that 10 kids like to read a book. And as soon as I have that down, I'm going to cross it off so it doesn't confuse me later. Okay, so again, I'm taking this information and I'm filling in the rest. And then it says 12 like to make crafts. And if I look down here on my graph, my make crafts label is right here. I found it, so I'm going to cross it out, and then I'm going to mark 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, and so if you want to, that's another way to do it. If you know your scale, you can just go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And if you make your lines that way, you'll automatically end in the right spot. And then you just connect them all up. So 12 kids like to make crafts. 2 times as many children like to play sports as make crafts. Okay, so I know 12 kids like to make crafts, and 2 times as many like to play sports. So if I just do that calculation, 12 times 2, or I double the number 12, I'm going to come up with 24, okay? Because 12, and I could do it this way too. I could say, well, I don't know how to multiply yet, so I'm going to do, I'm just going to add on to my bar, and then I would say here's 2 more, 4 more, 6 more, 8 more, 10 more, 12 more. Oh yeah, it ends in the same spot, and it ends at 24. So if I took 12 and 12, I'd get 24. And this is how many kids like to play sports. So I'm just going to put my label in there, play sports. And last but not least, it says 4 fewer children like to visit friends than play sports. Okay, so if I look, I only have 1 bar left. So honestly, it just has to be, this one has to be visit friends, because that's the only thing left. But I can prove that by looking at my play sports and then taking 4 away, because 4 fewer. So if I took these 4 away and drop my line straight down, my bar for visit friends ends here at 20, because 4 less like to visit friends than play sports. So this one gets a little confusing, but in the end, it should look like this. So if you need a better shot of it or a closer shot, there it is. We're not going to go on to practice 2 today. We'll do that tomorrow. I hope you have great days, and you are on to what I think would be break and lunch. So I hope you have great days. Thanks. Bye.